Tajikistan is one of those countries you rarely hear about, but the more you look at it, the stranger it becomes. High in Central Asia, this mountain nation has single women, unusual marriage traditions, remote villages, strange landscapes, and customs that can surprise even experienced travelers. Today, we'll go inside Tajikistan, a hidden country where daily life, culture, and tradition feel completely different from the world most people know. Number 1. The country of missing men. Nestled in the heart of Central Asia, Tajikistan is a landlocked nation of roughly 11 million people, covering about 55,300 square miles. It borders Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and China, and is the only country in the region where the majority speak a form of Persian rather than a Turkic language. Yet one of the first things many visitors notice is not the mountains, but the absence of men. Around 1 in every 7 citizens works abroad, mostly in Russia. At its peak, remittances accounted for nearly 45% of the country's GDP, making Tajikistan one of the most remittance-dependent countries on Earth. In countless households, money transferred from Moscow is what pays for food, clothing, and school supplies. The reason is economic survival. Tajikistan remains the poorest country of the former Soviet Union. In 2025, GDP per person stood at only around $1,430 per year, or less than $4 a day, more than 20 times lower than Estonia, despite both nations gaining independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. The result is a society transformed by migration. Across rural Tajikistan, women run farms, care for livestock, raise children, and manage households, while husbands and sons work thousands of miles away. Some return after years abroad. Many never come back at all. Behind these challenges lies a civilization far older than the modern country itself. The Tajiks are a Persian people with cultural roots stretching back thousands of years. In the remote Yaghnab Valley, a few isolated communities still speak a descendant of Sogdian, the language once used by merchants traveling the ancient Silk Road between China, Persia, and the Roman world. Number 2. The women under pressure. If you think moving away for work is hard, imagine being the wife left behind. Marriage itself can be challenging. In some conservative communities, arranged marriages remain common, and one of the most controversial traditions is virginity testing. Reports have suggested that as many as 78% of brides undergo virginity examinations because the groom's family demands proof before the wedding. One case shocked the entire country. Rajabi Kurshed, an 18-year-old bride, had already obtained medical documents proving her virginity before marriage. Yet her husband still refused to believe the results and took her to multiple clinics for additional examinations. Even after doctors repeatedly confirmed the same conclusion, he continued accusing her. Just 40 days after the wedding, overwhelmed by humiliation and pressure, she took her own life. And for some women, things become even more heartbreaking after the wedding. A husband may spend years working in Russia, sending money home every month. Then one day, a phone lights up with a simple message: talak, talak, talak. 3 words intended to signal divorce. No conversation, no court hearing, no warning. Just a few words on a screen. Some migrant workers began ending marriages through text messages sent from thousands of miles away. Religious authorities later ruled that divorce by SMS was invalid, but the damage had already been done. In many cases, marriages had never been officially registered with the state. When the husband disappeared or declared divorce, some women found themselves with no legal claim to property, financial support, or compensation. So, do you think women in this situation are pitiable? Comment with a number 2 to show your support for them. Number 3. The road through the roof of the world. If you think a road trip means highways, gas stations, and roadside diners, the Pamir Highway will completely change your definition of travel. Stretching nearly 778 miles from Osh in Kyrgyzstan to Dushanbe, the capital of Tajikistan, this is the second highest paved highway on Earth, beaten only by the Karakoram Highway between Pakistan and China. For much of the journey, you're driving through a landscape where there are more mountains than people, and where entire villages can remain cut off from the outside world for months during winter. Many sections climb above 15,000 feet, crossing windswept mountain passes surrounded by peaks that seem to touch the edge of space. The road winds through the legendary Pamir Mountains, a region so massive that explorers once called it the roof of the world. In some places, you can drive for hours without seeing another vehicle, passing tiny settlements where life has changed little for generations. What makes the Pamir Highway truly infamous is its danger. Landslides, rockfalls, earthquakes, snowstorms, washed-out roads and cliffs dropping thousands of feet are all part of the experience. Built by the Russian Empire and later expanded by the Soviet Union, the route once served as a strategic military corridor and an important branch of the ancient Silk Road. Even Marco Polo crossed parts of this region in the 13th century and wrote about its extreme isolation. Today, adventure travelers from around the world come here by motorcycle, bicycle, jeep, and even on foot. Many say it is the most unforgettable road trip of their lives. Some spend 1 to 2 weeks crossing remote villages such as Karakul, Murgab, Alachur, Khorog, and Kalaykum, surrounded by some of the wildest scenery left anywhere on Earth. On the Tajik side of the Pamirs, only around 220,000 people live across a region larger than many countries, making it one of the most sparsely populated mountain landscapes on the planet. Number 4. The country addicted to dairy. While countries like Italy are famous for pasta and Japan for seafood, Tajikistan has built much of its cuisine around bread, lamb rice, and especially dairy products. In fact, after spending a few days here, you may start wondering whether the entire country runs on milk. The national dish is plov, a massive rice dish cooked with lamb, carrots, onions, and spices in huge iron cauldrons. UNESCO even added it to its cultural heritage list, and some estimates suggest there are more than 200 regional variations. At weddings, holidays, and family gatherings, plov is almost guaranteed to appear. If you walk through local markets, one thing immediately stands out. Dairy products are everywhere. One of the most common is chaka, a thick-strained yogurt made by hanging fresh yogurt inside cloth for 8 to 10 hours until excess liquid drains away. What remains is rich, creamy, slightly sour, and surprisingly filling. Many vendors will happily offer you a spoonful before you decide whether to buy it. Another dairy staple is kaymak, a traditional milk cream created by slowly heating fresh milk for hours. As the milk cools, a thick golden layer forms on top. The result is smooth, buttery, and rich enough that many locals simply spread it on fresh bread for breakfast. Perhaps the strangest dairy product is kurut itself. These small white balls are made from fermented dairy rolled by hand and dried until they become rock hard. Their taste is intensely salty and sour. Some people eat them as snacks, while others dissolve them into soups and sauces. Walk through a bazaar, and you will often see huge bags of kurut hanging from market stalls everywhere you look. Another traditional favorite is kurutob, often considered Tajikistan's national comfort food. Pieces of flatbread are soaked in a sauce made from kurut, then topped with onions, herbs, and vegetables. It may look simple, but it has fed mountain communities for generations. During Nowruz, families prepare sumalak, a thick brown pudding made from sprouted wheat. It is cooked continuously for 12 to 24 hours in enormous pots and develops a natural sweetness without adding any sugar. Sumalak is traditionally prepared collectively, often overnight, with participants taking turns stirring the pot and making wishes. It is believed to bring prosperity and fertility. Bread is equally important. Naan is the traditional bread found throughout the country. These round, flat loaves feature decorative patterns pressed into the surface and are baked inside clay ovens called tanders. Bakers stick the dough directly onto the oven walls, where it somehow stays attached until fully baked. Whether you visit a city or a remote village, you will see countless bakeries producing fresh naan throughout the day. For meat lovers, shashlik is impossible to avoid. Skewers of lamb are grilled over open flames and served almost everywhere from roadside stalls to restaurants. Lamb remains one of the most important meats in the country because of the mountainous terrain. You may also encounter marinka fish, a freshwater species native to Central Asia. The fish is salted, dried, and often displayed in large circular arrangements at markets. Before serving, it is fried or grilled until incredibly crispy, sometimes crunchier than potato chips. Even ordering a drink can become entertainment. Number 5. The mountain villages frozen in time. If you leave the cities and head into the mountains, you'll find villages that seem untouched by modern life. Houses are built wherever space exists on the hillsides, stacked above and below each other, following the shape of the mountains rather than any formal plan. One of the first things you notice is transportation. Around the village, many people still ride donkeys and horses. The donkeys may look small, but they can carry heavy sacks of grain and supplies with ease. Cars exist, but they're mostly used for longer journeys. Fresh mountain water flows everywhere. Pipes bring water directly from springs high in the mountains, and many run openly through the village. Need drinking water. Fill a kettle. Need to wash vegetables. Hold them under the flow. Some families even throw buckets of water across their yards to keep dust down. Since the water constantly runs, nobody worries much about using it. Most families produce much of their own food. Instead of going shopping, you simply grab a bucket and pick vegetables from the garden. Tomatoes are often cooked and stored in jars, while apples and other fruits are sliced and dried in the sun to survive the long winters. In some villages, huge quantities are dried every year and sold as well. Animals are everywhere. Cows are hand-fed, milked every day, then released into the mountains to graze. The milk is boiled and turned into dairy products. Goats roam freely across hillsides, finding food on their own, with almost no supervision. Traditional roles remain strong. Women usually handle cooking, milk processing, food preservation, and household work. Men cut firewood, build houses, transport supplies, and do most of the heavy labor. Even young children often help with daily chores. Cooking is still surprisingly traditional. Many families use wood-burning stoves, often outdoors, where everything from boiling water to frying meals is done in the open air. Some homes also keep clay stoves indoors for colder months. Perhaps the most striking thing is how little goes to waste. Fruit is dried, vegetables are preserved. Milk becomes cheese and yogurt. Animals graze freely, and fresh mountain water is available almost everywhere. Number 6. The weddings ruled by tradition. In Tajikistan, weddings are not just family celebrations. They are some of the most important social events in a person's life. One thing that surprises many outsiders is that although polygamy is illegal under Tajik law, some men still take multiple wives through religious ceremonies performed by local imams. Under traditional interpretations of Sharia law, a Muslim man may marry up to 4 wives. So, would you like to experience the feeling of having 4 wives around you taking care of you? Please leave your opinion. The wedding itself looks very different from what you might expect. There are no giant speakers, no deafening music, and none of the chaotic party atmosphere common in many countries. Men and women are often separated during parts of the celebration. Men sit together in one area, usually on carpets and cushions, while women gather elsewhere. There seems to be gender discrimination here. Before entering the house, guests are often invited to wash their hands, using water poured from traditional kettles by children. A small ritual that symbolizes hospitality and respect. The food is simple but plentiful. Tables are covered with round, non-bread dried fruits, candies, raisins, and endless cups of hot tea. Guests are usually served large portions of rice dishes, while giant outdoor cauldrons prepare porridge made from grains, milk, and beans. Massive pans of seasoned rice are constantly stirred nearby. No Tajik wedding is complete without meat. Lamb and beef are the stars of the feast, replacing pork because of Islamic dietary rules. Huge quantities are prepared to feed hundreds of guests. Traditional dancing plays a major role throughout the day. Men often begin first stepping into circles and performing graceful movements with raised arms and rotating wrists. Later, women join in, and the celebrations can continue from morning until late at night. The clothing is just as fascinating. Many women wear colorful traditional dresses and round embroidered caps secured with large pins. Some women even wear the same elaborate outfits they used during their own weddings years earlier. The actual bride, however, is easy to spot. Before the main ceremony, she often remains hidden beneath a large white veil that completely covers her face. On the main wedding day, the entire bride's house turns into a giant preparation zone. One room is packed with women helping the bride get ready, while others sort flower petals into large bowls and carefully assemble the bride's traditional headdress. Outside, a large red ceremonial gate is erected at the entrance, and one surprisingly charming sight is the children. Instead of running around chaotically, they stand neatly in lines, follow instructions from adults, and are even called by name to make sure everyone is present. When the groom's family finally arrives, the bride's relatives come out to welcome them, carrying golden bowls used in a traditional ceremony. The flower petals prepared earlier are immediately tossed into the air as a blessing for the arriving procession. Before the groom's party can even enter the house, they must present gifts and money at the door, a symbolic custom that acts almost like an entrance fee to continue the ceremony. Then comes the moment everyone has been waiting for. The bride finally appears, but you still can't see her face clearly. Covered from head to toe in layers of fabric, jewelry, and traditional decorations. Standing beside the groom, the couple listens to wedding vows before the bride's mother steps forward and throws sweets over their heads and into the crowd. A ritual believed to bring happiness, prosperity, and good fortune. Afterward, the newlyweds perform the same traditional dance that guests had been dancing throughout the celebrations. Finally comes the emotional ending. The bride's dowry is loaded onto vehicles, family members gather for one last farewell, and the bride leaves for her husband's home. Number 7. The villages that go dark. Power cuts are something people usually associate with countries facing war, economic collapse, or major infrastructure problems, such as Cuba, Lebanon, or parts of Pakistan. Yet surprisingly, they are also a regular part of life in Tajikistan. Every year, from roughly October to April, electricity rationing returns across many rural areas. In some mountain villages, power is available for only a few hours in the morning and a few hours at night. Families rush to charge phones, heat water, cook meals, and run appliances before the electricity disappears again. Once darkness falls, children often continue their homework using flashlights, battery lamps, or candles. The reason lies in the country's dependence on hydropower. Tajikistan generates almost all of its electricity from rivers and dams. During winter, rivers freeze, water levels drop, and electricity production falls sharply, just as millions of people need more heating. What makes the situation even more controversial is that while villages sit in darkness, the giant Talco aluminum smelter, one of the country's most important export industries, has historically consumed around 40% of the nation's electricity. The government argues that the factory earns the foreign currency needed to buy fuel, medicine, and food imports, but many villagers see it differently. For them, it can feel as though entire communities are sacrificing electricity so the smelter can keep operating. Number 8. The 3,000-year-old Persian New Year. If you arrive in Tajikistan around March 21st, you won't just witness a holiday. You will be stepping into a tradition that has survived for more than 3,000 years, older than both Christianity and Islam. This celebration is called Nowruz, meaning New Day in Persian. It marks the arrival of spring and the beginning of the new year, according to the ancient Persian calendar. Today, more than 300 million people celebrate Nowruz across Central Asia, the Middle East, the Caucasus, and the Balkans. But Tajikistan remains one of its strongest cultural heartlands. The preparations begin long before the holiday arrives. Families perform kane tekani, a deep cleaning of the entire house. Furniture is moved, carpets are beaten, walls are cleaned, and old clutter is removed. The idea is that a new year should begin with a fresh home and a fresh start. One of the most important traditions is creating the Haft-Seen table. Families carefully arrange 7 symbolic items. These include wheat sprouts for rebirth, apples for beauty, garlic for health, vinegar for patience, coins for prosperity, sumac berries representing the sunrise, and sweet wheat pudding symbolizing abundance. Many households also add mirrors, candles, painted eggs, and goldfish as symbols of life and happiness. Before Nowruz officially begins, some communities still celebrate Chaharshanbe Suri, one of the most dramatic traditions of the Persian world. People light bonfires and jump over the flames while reciting phrases that symbolically transfer sickness, bad luck, and negative energy into the fire. The ritual is meant to purify the body and spirit before entering the new year. Another important custom is Ditto Bazdid, the tradition of visiting relatives and friends. Families spend days traveling between homes, sharing meals, exchanging sweets, and giving gifts. Children especially look forward to receiving small amounts of money handed out by older relatives, similar to lucky money, during Lunar New Year celebrations in East Asia. And you, what country do you live in? And how do you celebrate the New Year there? Share it in the comments below. Number 9. The strangest places in Tajikistan. For a country most people struggle to find on a map, Tajikistan contains some of the most unusual places and projects anywhere in Asia. The most famous region is the Pamir Mountains, often called the roof of the world. Around 93% of Tajikistan's territory is covered by mountains, making it one of the most mountainous countries on Earth. Here you will find Ismoil Somoni Peak, rising to 24,590 feet, the highest mountain in the former Soviet Union. What makes it even stranger is that the peak has changed names along with politics. It was once called Stalin Peak, then Communism Peak, before eventually becoming Ismoil Somoni Peak after independence. The capital Dushanbe offers a completely different surprise. Despite being located in one of Central Asia's poorest countries, the city is filled with enormous boulevards, giant monuments, and oversized government buildings. Most surprising of all, Dushanbe once held the record for the tallest flagpole in the world, standing 541 feet high between 2011 and 2014. The project cost millions of dollars and became a symbol of national pride. Then there is Rogan Dam, a project so ambitious that it could completely transform the country's future. When finished, the dam is expected to reach about 1,099 feet, making it the tallest dam on Earth and significantly taller than the Eiffel Tower, which stands around 1,083 feet, including its antenna. The project is designed to solve the electricity shortages that have plagued Tajikistan for decades and could eventually turn the country into a major power exporter in Central Asia. And perhaps the strangest place of all is Lake Sarez, a giant lake created when an earthquake in 1911 caused an entire mountainside to collapse into a valley. The landslide formed a natural dam more than 1,800 feet high, trapping billions of tons of water behind it. Scientists have spent over a century studying the lake, because if the natural dam ever failed, the resulting flood could affect millions of people across several countries. Number 10. How much things actually cost. If you visit Tajikistan expecting Swiss prices because of the mountains you're in for a surprise, this is one of the cheapest countries in Asia for both locals and travelers. In the capital, Dushanbe, a simple local meal typically costs around $3, while a meal at a decent restaurant is usually about $8. A cup of tea often costs less than $1, and the traditional round bread found everywhere is so cheap that many travelers barely notice the expense. Accommodation is also affordable. A typical guest house costs about $15 per night. Even many of the better hotels in the country remain below $100 per night. Getting around is equally budget-friendly. A ride on a local bus usually costs less than 50 cents. Considering the vast distances and mountainous terrain, that is remarkably cheap. For tourists, a budget of roughly $40 per day is often enough to cover accommodation, food, and transportation. Spending around $80 per day allows for a much more comfortable experience. The interesting part is that while these prices seem incredibly low to foreign visitors, they do not always feel cheap to locals. Tajikistan's GDP per capita is only about $1,430 per year, the lowest among all former Soviet republics. That means many families must carefully manage every expense, making even a restaurant meal an occasional treat rather than an everyday habit. After exploring Tajikistan from mountain villages, the world's highest roads to little-known stories about life here, perhaps you understand why this country always makes visitors both surprised and curious. If you like today's journey, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel to explore more special places in the world.